Hello everybody. Today I'm going to solve another Leetcode challenge, but challenge today it would be really challenging for me because everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and my weakness is really dynamic programming. I really very bad in this concept, and especially in cases when it's not something simple like a task with I don't know stairs and steps. Maybe you know it, but something more complex which require two-dimensional table to store results. But anyway, let's try. This task is a longest palindrome substring. My approach uh, to study on Leetcode is solve task twice. First time I solve task on my own without like interview mode, without recording, and here I just trying to find solution which at least works. Yeah, but then when I have this solution, I already found it. I'm trying to run another uh, task another time, and this time I trying to explain, speaking aloud, speaking with interviewers, with Matt and Mira from AlgaHack. So let's see. I have one submission, and this submission really was not very well. It's beat only 18% of users in speed and only 5% in memory. So let's try to solve this task one more time and maybe do some improvements. So I'm ready to run interview mode and start our challenge.
Hey there, this is Matt and Mira, your interviewers. How are you feeling today?
I'm good, Matt. A little bit nervous, but mostly I'm okay.
Thanks for sharing, John. Can you explain your general understanding of what the problem description is asking you to do?
Yes, it's quite straightforward. We get in string, and we need to find all possible palindromes in this substring and return longest.
That's correct, John. To clarify, you do not need to find all possible palindromes in the substring. Rather, you should find the longest palindromic substring in the given string. Do you feel comfortable starting on a solution for this problem?
Yes, sure, I'm good. Do you want me to jump into the code or discuss possible solution?
Great to hear that, John. Before you start writing code, it'd be helpful if you could explain your approach for solving this problem. This will help us understand your thinking process and provide any guidance if needed.
Okay, got it. So I'm going to use dynamic programming for this task, and what I'm going to do is create table which I populate with check of substring if they are palindrome. I'm going to start with very basic case is a substring of one character, and this substring is always a palindrome. Yeah, one character always palindrome. Next step, I want to check same for substring of two characters, because it's also kind of basic case. Our palindrome might be have lengths like odd or even, and it might be like a substring of one character or substring of two characters. And then I want to run another loop to check all other possible like a substring of all other possible lengths. So I may show you like writing the code.
That sounds like a solid approach, John. It's great that you're planning on using dynamic programming to solve this problem efficiently. Please feel free to start coding whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm going to start. So firstly, we need to set up several variables. We start with start variable, and because we need to return like a substring as well, start it's will be index from where the substring begin. Another variable which we need to set is length, and exactly it's the length of the substring. And I want to set up one utility variable which is just a string length, because we will use it a lot. Last but not least, we need to set up a table. It's our tool where we're going to store our results of our calculation. So firstly, we need to create array of length n and fill it with something. Actually, it doesn't matter what we put in here, and then we need to map it to create inner arrays, also length n, and fill it.
Thanks for sharing your thought
false.
process, John. It sounds like you're on the right track. One thing to note is that in your code snippet, there's an error in the .map function where you didn't specify a callback function for each element in the array. Could you fix this and explain how you plan to move forward with the table?
Okay, yeah, I fixed it. Just like an intermediate code. Let me finish. And first step, we need to...
A quick heads up, John.
Yes?
There's a minor typo in your code. FIL should be fill. Perhaps if you could fix that, it'd be great. Once done, let's carry on with your next steps.
Okay.
Sounds like you're all set, John. Please go ahead with your next steps.
Great start, John. It seems you're missing the body of your for loop. Could you explain what you're planning to do inside it?
Yes, here I want to handle our first base scenario. Is set up all substring of one character as a true in our table, like that.
Great job, John. It's excellent that you're starting by correctly handling the simplest case of a substring with length 1. Please proceed with your next steps inside the second for loop.
Okay, here we check second basic scenario is like a substring of two characters, and if we have like a si equal to si plus 1, we need to update start like a 1. We need to update length to 2 because our length already become more, and we need to set up table like I and I plus 1 as a true. Actually, another important thing, when I created length variable, I set up it's to null, to 0, and I want to change it to 1 because we always has at least one character on the string, so our minimal length always will be 1.
That appears solid, John. Mapping in the table for one character and two identical character palindromes is a logical step. Your code seems to be headed in the right direction. Good job. Next up, let's tackle the larger than two character palindromes and finish the function.
Oh yeah, here I'm going to run a third loop and check all possible substrings longer than 2 characters. So what we need to set up? we need to start from 3 because 3 is exactly the next one, and inside it run another for loop when we going to take I less than sorry, it should be k is less than a, and I is less than n minus k, I believe something like that.
Keep up the good work, John. Going through the possible substrings using two nested loops seems like a valid approach. However, to iterate through intervals of size k, shouldn't you have I n minus k plus 1 instead of I n minus k in your second for loop stopping condition?
Oh yeah, sorry. And then we need to find index of the end of the substring. So we take I as a start point, we take k and minus 1, so we get index of the end of the substring. And then we need to check. So if s from I is equal to s from j, and substring inside of this string is also palindrome, so table I plus 1 and j minus 1, so we take I one step ahead and j one step back. So we need to update our start equal to I length equal to key, and set up table ej also as a palindrome. It's true, something like that.
That's the way, John. You're correctly identifying the longer palindromes during your loop iterations, updating the palindrome start index and its length each time a longer palindrome is found. Everything so far looks just about right. Shall we proceed to finally returning the longest palindrome?
Yes, we may. I just have some problem in test case from if I have two items, it should be expected return only one of them. That's normal, but for some reason my code returned 2. I need to investigate it.
Well done, John. Returning the substring with using start and length values you've found is correct. Concerning the test case returning 2 characters, could it be a case of equal length palindromes? If yes, this is correct because the problem statement says if there's more than one output, any one is valid. Now, could you describe a bit about the time and space complexities of your solution, please?
Yes, guys, just give me a couple seconds to find proper find the error to handle.
Great job again,
this
John.
case.
We just have to add that your solution's time complexity is O(n) toward, while space complexity is O(n) toward as well. The reason is we are using the array table with dimensions nxn to store if a substring is palindrome or not. This array requires n-thward space. Then we use 2 nested loops of length n, thus we have a time complexity of O(n) score.
No problem, John. Take your time. Are you coming across any specific errors or difficulties?
Maybe it was just a typo. Let's see. No, it's still have some problem. And if I do like that,
John, the iteration parts look fine. If you're unsure about why it's returning a longer substring in certain cases, you may want to review the indices you're using in slice start length. Remember, the slice ends one character before the ending index. That might help. Keep going, buddy.
okay, once again, we check I until it get to n minus k plus 1.
Take a hard look at how you're defining the start of palindrome, John. This could be the root of the problem. Keep going. Your systematic approach to check for potential mistakes is commendable.
Yeah, I want just to check what we have stored because I'm not sure.
That's a good idea, John. Have you tried running and printing values of start and length to observe their values at different stages of the iterations for a given test case?
Sorry, yeah, I see problem. Start put as a 1. It's not necessary 1. Yes, finally.
Excellent job spotting that, John. It seems that fixing the start variable assignment could indeed solve the issue. Do run it, and let's see if this resolves the problem.
Okay, but it's still
Awesome, John.
not very...
Great job debugging. Do you mind explaining what's the time and space complexity of your solution?
Okay. But, I see it's still not very efficient. Maybe we may apply some improvements here.
Your insights are correct. There is always room for improvement. Nonetheless, could you specify the time and space complexity for your current solution? It is also pertinent to understand the cost of your implementation before we go with improvement advice.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, we have several for loops. First one, it's length of s. Second one also. And third one is like a length of s multiplied. Again, we run like a... So I would say that it's all from n in power of 2.
Correct, John. You have several for loops as you mentioned. The first two are on. The third one is looping n times, outer loop, with the inner loop looping mk plus 1 times, which is, in essence, generating specific sums of an arithmetic sequence from 1 through n minus 1. It results in a time complexity of O(n) tor. As you are utilizing a two-dimensional array of dimension n times n, your space complexity will be O(n) tord.
Okay, yeah, thank you. But guys, to be honest, I don't see any room for improvement here. But this solution is still not very efficient.
Well done on identifying that. There are indeed further optimization possibilities that we can explore, but we must first understand where the current solution's bottleneck lies before suggesting improvements. Can you describe which part of the code you believe is the most inefficient?
I believe our third loop.
You are correct, John. The nested loops take the most time, as we're iterating through all the substrings. This gives us an O(n) tord complexity. However, the way we build the table for dynamic programming allows us to not check multiple times if a given substring continues to be a palindrome, which saves us a lot of time. We can improve further, however. Can you think of any improvements to make here?
No, to be honest, guys, sorry.
No need to apologize, John. It's okay if you do not see any improvements to make. Your current solution is working well, and improvements could come later with additional research. I think we can now end this technical interview session. Thank you for explaining your thought process throughout the interview, John.
Okay, thank you guys very much for your time. It was really interesting. I will try to find some additional improvements for this algorithm. But anyway, main goal, I was able to solve this task at least and explain how does it work. So thank you very much.
Absolutely, John. You performed extremely well, and keep in mind, the best improvement is practice and continuous learning. It was our pleasure to interview you.
Bye-bye.
Yes, John. Your reasoning was clear, and the code works correctly, which is the most important part. Improvements always can be made, and it's great that you see it. Best of luck with your future learnings.
Goodbye, John. It was nice chatting with you and discussing your solution.
Thank you for your time, John. Goodbye, and all the best.
So guys, that was it. As you see, I stuck a little bit, did some typos, but it's better to do it during such mock interview than later on real life coding interview. So thank you very much for your attention, and you may already use the same application, AlgoHack, with interview mode. Just see link below in description. And this is it. See you next time. Bye bye.